part 4. We're going to talk about mum. We're going to talk about the things that can go wrong with mum, how you can be aware of them, and what you can do to sort it out. So she's had her puppies, you've got a litter, now it's time to mum to look after her puppies and you to do whatever you need to do to make sure she's in the right environment. So first off is the environment. Should have planned this ahead of time. You don't want to be scrambling for this stuff the day that the puppies arrive. You need to have a whelping box. It needs to have a pig rail in it. It needs to have a source of heat in it. We recommend our whelping system with the heat tape that goes around underneath the pig rail. It's the best thing out there, but you can go look at that, but you need to have a whelping box that is secure. Puppies can't get out. I like a whelping box where mum can't get out unless I'm ready for her to get out. You've got to have a heat source. We like to have the heat source just around the inner periphery of the box under the pig rail where mum's not getting hot because she doesn't like the extra heat. And you need to have a pig rail. Puppies can get squished. You've got to have a pig rail. So we've got the environment right. Okay, good. So now there are puppies. The puppies have been born. What have we got to do? Well, we'll talk more about puppies in particular here in a little bit, but the one thing that you've got to be careful about is aggression. Aggression and rejection. So aggression can happen especially with new mums who have been through a C-section, who have been anesthetized, who are a bit wonky for a few hours, where they don't know what is going on. And all of a sudden they're surrounded by these little furry rats that are screaming and they are stressed out on the whole thing and they could bite a puppy. Not the norm, but it's not unheard of. So what we do is when we have a C-section, the puppies come home in part of the environment, they come home in our incubator. So we have an incubator that they come home in, so they're nice and warm, they're nice and quiet, and then we introduce them one at a time to mum, and we put the first puppy in mum's face, covering the puppy up with our hands so that she can't bite it, and we'll put the back end of the puppy into the mum's face so she can lick it, sniff it, and see what she thinks about that. And if she's happy and she wants to lick on the puppy, then we'll take that puppy and put it on her and see if that puppy will nurse, and whether she'll let that puppy nurse. If she is rejecting them, then putting some peanut butter on their back end, a good old teaspoon of peanut butter on their back end, and let her lick that off can do wonders, where she kind of gets the smell of the puppy and kind of starts to kind of become a mother. If she's doing some things where she's showing aggression, then you've got two things that you can do here. Take the puppies away from her, try it again in another few hours. And if she still rejects the puppies, you can put a muzzle on her. So you can't get into a situation of mum bites puppies. If she's bitten a puppy, be very aware of the fact that there's an impending problem and you've got to take control of this. If she bit a puppy right out the bat, when you first introduce puppies, she's a bit wonky because of anesthesia, she'd probably get past that. But if she's just going to be aggressive to the puppies, you've either got to mask her up, or you've got, muzzle her up, or you've got to take the puppies away. Okay, what else we got here on this? What are we sure getting this right? Mother, right? Okay, so we're talking about, we've had puppies, mum's accept the puppies, they're nursing, great. Now, what are the things that can go wrong with mum? Well, eclampsia. Eclampsia. And I've done videos and all this stuff, so you can go look at these individually with much greater detail. Eclampsia is because the mum's calcium level has dropped. And because her calcium level has dropped, she can start to have the shakes, she can start to have a seizure, she can go into a coma, she can die. What do you do about eclampsia? If you're showing outward signs like I just described, it's time to go to the vet, get a blood test done, because she may need an IV. You can't just pile calcium on to a dog in a situation like that, because it can have bad consequences. So what we do is we do give things like cottage cheese after the puppies have been born in her food to keep her calcium level up so that she hopefully avoids eclampsia. But if she's showing signs of eclampsia, then you probably need an IV with calcium in it to sort that out. And it's going to be given slowly over probably 12 to 24 hours. So you've got to have a method of being able to keep the puppies safe while that's going on. She may not be with you for half a day to a day. The next one is mastitis. Mastitis, quite common. Mastitis is where mum's milk is not being used up on a teat by puppies. And it tends to happen in the front nipples, not the back ones. They tend to be bigger. Puppies tend to have a preference for particular nipples, and you'll see puppies are generally fighting towards these lower ones. Probably the reason for that is they're the first ones to come in for milk, And so the puppies have more success nursing on those, and they can leave these ones alone. And when that happens, you can get a nipple a breast that starts to get hard and warm because it's basically got milk that's not been drained and has gone set up in the breast. I've got videos on this, so not any great detail here, but what you've got to do is get some warm towels on that nipple, get puppies nursing on it, nurse it by hand, get that thing flowing. If you don't, it can get septic, then you might lose that nipple. It may have to have some surgery to cut it open and get the muck out, antibiotics, and a dog that's not feeling well. You can avoid this by paying attention. And by the way, on all of this stuff, if you think that mum's not doing well, take her temperature, a temperature of 101.5 or higher, time to go to the vet and find out what the hell's going on, and maybe you have to have antibiotics on board. There are other things that can go wrong. This is not the only thing. You can have, you can have a natural whelp and a retained placenta that can then cause problems 24, 48 hours later. It's quite common to see mamas that are panting heavily after they've had puppies, and that's really part of the milk production normally. But if it continues to go on, be concerned. Take temperature. Temperature's above 101.5 or higher, time to go to the vet. Okay. Yeah, so what do you do with, the next thing is no milk production. Mum is not producing any milk. Well, it's quite common to go into whelp when mum doesn't have any milk that puppies can nurse on. You may just be able to express a little bit of yellowy stuff out there. That's the colostrum. You absolutely want the puppies to have that. So even if you think there's no milk present, have the puppies nurse on mum, because it keeps their suckle reflex going, it keeps the bonding with mum going, and it helps with milk production. Almost always when you've either had a natural whelp or a C-section, you need to give oxytocin at the back end of this, which helps with milk letdown and contractions of the uterus to express any parts of the placenta and blood and muck that need to come out of it. There are things that you can do for milk production. I'm not an expert on this by far. I've never had to do it. But I think Phenigrin seed is something that supposedly does help with milk production. So you might do a little bit of research on that. But if she doesn't have milk or not enough milk, then you're going to have to step in. You're going to have to bottle feed or tube feed. And you're going to use goat's milk. And the mixture for that is every 2 ounces of 1 tablespoon of powdered goat's milk to 2 ounces of water. That's the ratio. Is there a particular kind that's better, Espilac versus goat's milk? No, they're all pretty much the same thing. I don't get too worried about this. They all look like powdered milk, and that's exactly what they are. Espilac claims they've got some colostrum in there. I kind of doubt that personally, but it might be right. But there's no harm using Espilac. But good old goat's milk, fresh goat's milk, pasteurized, well, goat's milk that comes in a canister from Walmart, powdered goat's milk, condensed goat's milk, you can buy that in a tin. It needs to be mixed 50-50 with water. All of those things are fine. You can bottle feed, you can tube feed. And I've got videos on those things, so you can get more specific information on that. Okay, what else we got here? Food. Well, food for mum, much as she wants to eat. Some mums, especially as you get further on in the pregnancy, can be possessive about food, and you can have a puppy getting bitten because it's wandering around and gets in the food bowl, and mum doesn't like that. So be careful about this. If she shows any kind of aggression feeding time, you can always feed the mum away from the puppies. All right, I think we put that one to bed. I think that's that one. We've got one more to go. Catch you on the next one. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.